from the moment I was born. I say this on my very first podcast. I felt like,
Yeah.
what the heck am I doing here, you know? And
Yeah.
every night I would, when everyone went to bed, I'd sit by my little red light and I'd be like, it's like, can you just tell me what I'm doing here? And I just never fitted in, just struggled and struggled and struggled. Difficult birth. Mum struggled with me. I struggled, And it's only, taken 40 whatever years to like work out that I'm highly sensitive, stumble across my people. It's like, and
Yeah.
feel like now I think I'm here for like actually a huge purpose. It's so important.
That is such a typical starseed quality, is questioning what you're doing here and even wondering beyond the reality that we're living and feeling like you have a huge purpose and a mission. Definitely a starseed quality I can resonate.
Welcome to a very out of this world episode of Curious Bee. I have a fellow feminine frequency business school sister in the house. She is Christine, and from where is she from? I wonder. We're going to find out. Coming Out Cosmic is her social handle over on TikTok and Instagram. And we're going to be talking all things aliens, woo, and starseeds, which has been something that has been totally on my radar for the last, let's say, 6 months. So I want to open with, because I'm all about like cutting through and being the bridge between, the everyday and the greater, the what we don't see with our naked eye, but some do. Okay. So I just want to open with that our human bodies are made of stardust, and this is a fact. So this is just, you can go and look it up. This is just what good old Google will tell you. So here we go. Most of the elements in our bodies were formed in stars over the course of billions of years and multiple star lifetimes. However, it's also possible that some of our hydrogen, which makes up roughly 9.5% of our bodies, and lithium, which our bodies contain in a very tiny amount of trace amounts, originated from the Big Bang. So there you go. So that is like, I thought, the most appropriate lead-in to my fascination with starseeds. And yeah, so we're going to open. So what Christine does is she talks all things aliens, as I said. She also is able to, and I'm so excited, she's able to tell you what star family and starseed you are. So I'm amped because I actually got so close to really wanting to know when I went to a market down in my local town, and the lady said, you're not ready, usually some inner child work and then I can tell you. And I was like, bugger, because she said you need to stay down before you go back up, so it's time. I've done the inner child work. And we're going to open with Christine. Going to hand it over to you, and yeah, she's going to so emotional, do what she does to uncover what you are. And on this piece of paper, I thought I just had to do this. I've written down what I think I am so we can do the big reveal afterwards. So handing the mic over to you.
Yes, perfect. Oh my gosh, thank you so much. Well, before we get into the galactic origin reading, I wanted to first define a starseed, if that's okay with you, and what people think starseeds are, because there's a lot of different like spiritual and cosmic jargon out there. And so I think a lot of people have different definitions. And for me, a starseed is somebody who is a galactic soul in a human body. So when we sparked from source, the Big Bang Theory, essentially, we had to have done that somewhere. So like, what location were we at? What constellation were we at, etc.? Where does our soul remember itself first? So that's what I believe a starseed is. And I do believe that most human beings are a starseed. And I say most because I do believe that our universe is absolutely infinite. So there's so many unlimited possibilities. So that's my definition of a starseed. I definitely think that you are one because of the energy of resonance. And what I mean by that is that you're resonating with aliens. You're resonating with the term starseed. So that's one way to find out your galactic origin on your own to try to demask it yourself is just if you're resonating with this content. And I think that if you are listening to this podcast, you are most likely a starseed just because of that. Now, another thing I'll say is yes, I do love doing galactic origin readings. However, it is entirely up to the person to take if it totally resonates. So I love that you have your little piece of paper where you're like, I think I'm this. Let's see what the cards say. Because sometimes the cards are not always like telling me exactly. And my method is using oracle cards. I am a tarot reader as well. And so we'll see if there's different messages within the cards to see what galactic origin it points to. But it is totally up to you to discern if it resonates, because not only could this be pointing to your origin, but it could also be pointing to different aliens that are just around you. Maybe just cosmic family members that are literally not of your lineage, just people who have been with you for many, many lifetimes. So with all of that getting started, did you have any questions before I get into the reading?
No, I think that's really interesting because I actually looked up the other day about what phase the moon was in when I was born. So I love that analogy because it all fits together so beautifully. And there is so much overlap when you start looking outside of the box between human design and between astrology and between what star seeds. So it's all like, it's beautiful because it's all like interconnected. It's almost like a different language.
Yes.
And yeah, and your superpowers, another thing Christine has is her superpowers guide. And again, it was just a confirmation for me when I downloaded that. I was like, yeah, here we go. It's like the same, but it's just a different language. It's
Yes.
another way of articulating it. So it's super cool. Super cool.
Yeah. Perfect. Okay, I'm going to set this down.
Yeah.
Okay, are you ready?
Yeah, cool.
Okay, so the first card that popped up is, and not all of these are just ET species cards. And for people who are interested in what deck I use, it's called the Mystic Martian Oracle deck. It's literally one of the only alien decks that are out there that I could find. The first thing that popped through was this Galactic Federation card. Have you heard of the Galactic Federation?
No.
Okay. So in a nutshell, the Galactic Federation is one of the many councils that oversees different things you could say that happen on Earth. And so they're filled with benevolent beings, I believe. And so to be part of the Galactic Federation means that you definitely are a light worker and you're a starseed. And I believe that through this card alone, you either work with the Galactic Federation or they are around you. So I would encourage you to look up the GFL because they play a huge part in humanity and helping humanity evolve. And I think that you're doing that through your starseed lineage. Now, before we got into the card pull, I want to say that intuitively, before I even started reading you, I do have a lineage that comes to mind immediately. And I would rather almost go with that lineage instead of what some of these cards are saying. But I'll explain what some of the cards say first. Now, this first card that pops up are the Agarthans. And they are manifesting multidimensional perception attunement. Now, for me, this card validates my original assumption of who I thought that you could actually come from. And those were the Arcturians. And so I don't know if you've heard of the Arcturians, but that's actually the star lineage that I believe that I come from. And I wouldn't be surprised if you do, because the fact that we're doing this podcast together could mean that there's some sort of connection between us. And the Arcturians are the blue aliens. They're very analytical. They're very rational. They have a lot of love for humanity. And they're also pretty good with technology. Like they're good with digital things. In my case, this isn't always true, but there is like a digital component. So just upon meeting you, that's the energy that came through for me. And the last card that I want to show you that came in reverse, which is significant, are the Alpha Draconians. And I'll flip it this way for you to see. Now, the reason why I think this card came up for you is because it is coupled with the Galactic Federation card. And a lot of the Galactic Federation's job is to overthrow the different agendas that the Alpha Draconians have on Earth. So I don't want to give too much information because it can be very overwhelming. But for new listeners who don't know anything about aliens, take this as this resonates, please, because some people may not believe this information, and that is totally fine. But they say that these Alpha Draconians are the ones who are actually the ones in charge of this Earth because they were one of the original intelligent species here. So the fact that this card came in the reverse, coupled with Galactic Federation, signals to me that you may have a very strong connection to the Galactic Federation in helping to, I guess, overthrow the Alpha Draconian negative influence that is here on Earth. Do you consider yourself a light being?
I like, from the moment I was born, I say this on my very first podcast, I felt like I'd just be like, pop, like,
Yeah.
what the heck am I doing here, you know?
Yeah.
And every night I would like, you know, when everyone went to bed, I'd sit by my little red light and I'd be like, just like, can you just tell me what I'm doing here? And I
Yeah.
just never fit it in, just struggled and struggled and struggled. Difficult birth. Mum struggled with me. I struggled,
Wow.
you know, the whole, and it's only, taken 40 whatever years to like, you know, work out that I'm highly sensitive, stumble across, you know, my people, you know, it's like, and
Yeah.
feel like, now I think I'm here for like actually a huge purpose. It's so important.
That is such a typical starseed quality, is questioning what you're doing here and even wondering beyond the reality that we're living and feeling like you have a huge purpose and a mission. Definitely a starseed quality. I can resonate.
Yeah, it's just, just been baffling, and now I'm just like, it's just been, since I woke up, it's like just in the last year, it's just been just guide me, just guide me, just guide me, just guide me, just guide
Yes.
me, you know?
Yeah.
Because there's no other logical, you know, in the matrix and that makes any sense anymore.
I know.
Doesn't. It's like,
I know anything is
ah,
possible. I hear the most wild stories from people on coming out cosmic, people who are coming out and sharing their cosmic stories. And I can't even say that I don't believe them because I do.
yeah, interesting. Yes, it's funny because my piece of paper is actually drum roll. I love it. I put it up so make sure it's right around. But I actually thought I was
Syrian? Oh my gosh. Oh my. Okay. No one's going to believe this, but I felt like you might have written Syrian down. I did. And I was anticipating for it to come up on the cards. However, it's like, it's no big deal. That's what the fun is, I think, of these oracle card readings, is that it's all up for interpretation for both people. And just because, let's say, if I feel like you have Arcturian energy, it doesn't necessarily even 100% mean that that is the lineage that you resonate with the most in this lifetime, because your different traits from those different lineages could come through in different lifetimes. So what I mean by that is I believe that human beings have had thousands of lifetimes, if not more. So you might have had some very potent lifetimes as a Syrian and or as an Arcturian. You could have been a Pleiadian as well. And with the Arcturian energy, personally, that could be me picking up on Arcturians around you, because Arcturians and Syrians, this is actually very weird and coincidental and synchronistic. On my TikTok live today, somebody asked me, how well do Syrians connect with Arcturians. And now I'm like, oh my gosh, that was such a setup from the universe to help me prepare for this live, because obviously we get along well if we're talking together. But yes, so as always, take what resonates. If you truly feel like you align with the Syrians and you read more and more information about them, then 100% take that as your galactic origin, because the oracle cards can only tap the surface of what really is true for you. And so that's what I do, is I help facilitate that transition, but ultimately it's completely up to you and what truly resonates. So that is interesting. What makes you think that you're Syrian, or what kinds of traits?
Um, it was definitely the ocean. Like when I'm
Mhm.
not near the ocean, I feel really frustrated
Okay.
and lost and disconnected, and that's why my soul's like lead me to where I like it, where I am just there, and this real passion for just the planet, the environment, the oceans, that and I definitely don't think I'm strongly Palladian, because I'm not like a real mothering fluffy, just not. I'm not like, and I'm just that just don't think I'm very strongly that. But yeah, definitely Syrian for that reason. And isn't Syrian dogs?
So each ET race has a plethora of different species within. So absolutely, there could be. I'm not familiar, but the Syrians, as I see them, is they have their water element. They have, at least in my oracle deck, they have a octopus face, so they're very aquatic. Is one of the interpretations in the deck, but it's crazy because when we talk about ET species, and with humanity just finally really waking up to it as a collective, there are so many species out there that I guess I should say, so many species with whom we communicate that sometimes we don't even have words for them, because there's no words for them in our human language. There's just so many. So, and an example of this is like when I was tapping into with my friend Laura, who is a highly gifted channeler, lauradchannels.com, cute shout out for her.
Yes.
She was tapping into my lineage, and she was also confirming, yes, Arcturian, but the constellation that you come from, I don't even have words for, because I don't even know what it's called, because aliens have different languages, etc. So the discovery of your galactic origin is a very long and arduous but fun process.
Yeah, so cool. So do you think that there's a connection between our human physical vessel, which as I opened, is this makeup of all these elements, um, and our origin? Or do you think it's more our soul? Because that's one coming into the other. So what's your POV?
Yeah, that is a great question. I think the connection is that it entirely depends on what the soul wants and what they want to present in this lifetime. For example, and I keep referring to my Arcturian self, because that's the only way that I can really phrase it in a context that would make sense. So the fact that I think that I'm an Arcturian soul in a human body, I definitely do see physical characteristics in my human self that would portray me as Arcturian. And a couple of those would be the light blue eyes, or the very analytical mind, or the passion for teaching and the passion for learning. Those are very Arcturian traits. However, who's not to say that there's other Arcturian soul starseeds out there who are in human bodies, and they just decided in this lifetime, you know what? I don't want to portray any of my Arcturian physical traits. I just want to be completely different from anything I've ever been, and I'm not going to display those traits. So there are those cases as well.
Yeah, so cool. Yeah, because your your eyes are so alien. It's like,
Oh my gosh,
yeah,
thank you. I take that as a compliment.
they're just incredible. Like, whoa, like, yeah, you have to check her out if this, because at the moment this recording isn't, yeah, you can't, like, wow, like far out. Your
Thank
eyes
you.
are insane. So how did you what's your backstory on how you got into this? Like, what were you doing before, and how did this cross your path?
Oh man. Honestly, I never really cared about aliens. Like, if you were to tell me 20 years ago that I'd be talking publicly about aliens, I'd be like, that is absolutely insane. I would never do that because I was always such a people pleaser and very protective of my self image. And as you can imagine, it's not very self image like to come out cosmic and to start talking publicly about aliens. So I guess for me, it all started when I had my second spiritual awakening. So I started awakening in 2012. A lot of people did, and that's because the vibration of the earth was very, very high at that time, and it just continued to lift higher. So if you resonate with that, that could be why. 2020, I think a lot of people had massive awakenings. And during that time, I really wanted to understand what is actually happening within this earth, like who's really behind all of this. And so I started going down some of the conspiracies, which led me to like the reptilians. And then I found other mentors and spiritualists and channelers with whom I connected. But it started with Dolores Cannon. Have you heard of her?
Mm.
Okay. Yeah, she's the pioneer of quantum healing hypnosis therapy, QHHT, which is essentially a very, very deep past life regression therapy. And she writes all about aliens in her books. So when I found Dolores, then I found my friend Laura Di Piazza, who actually channels, she's a voice channeler. And so if you know Bashar, who's channeled by Daryl Anka, she's very similar. She has that same gift. So I started working with her. And then one day, I just used my free will and I said to the universe, I would love to connect with aliens for the highest good of all involved. And that night, I had my first remembered alien visitation. And I say remembered because I do believe that they're actually visiting us almost every single night, but we don't remember. And in my case, they had actually been visiting me at least since 2014 through sleep paralysis, but I wasn't conscious of that. I didn't even realize that I was a starseed at that time. So that's how my alien phenomenon started, I guess.
Wow, that's super cool. And the other really cool thing, like when I saw like you coming on with your dad, that is just so cool. So how did that all unfold? Like, how did you get your dad in front of the camera?
Oh my gosh, that is such a good question. Yes. So my dad, I had no idea, first off, that anyone in my family believed in any sort of aliens. I had no idea. And so when I first started coming out cosmic on TikTok, this was back in November of 2024, I just started telling my parents, like, hey, I'm talking about aliens publicly. And I showed my dad this ET Species Almanac that I have. It's by a man named Craig Campobasso. And they're very beautiful drawings of aliens and not so beautiful drawings of the more malevolent aliens. And my dad looked at me and he's like, oh my God. He flipped through the book and he's like, I think I've seen a draconian. And for those who don't know, a draconian actually is what came up in your oracle card reading in the reverse. And these are the ones they say actually control things around here. And it's basically a humanoid dragon, very, very big, tall, muscular, militant like. But he saw one when he was working in the army. And so that opened up a whole other can of worms. And so here are me and my dad, and I was raised Catholic. He's also still very religious, but he has this alien side to him where he's very open, but he's still like he's still pretty religious. I think he may even still go to church, but we hope to show people on our Alien Talk lives together where we talk about aliens and cosmic stuff that you can have all of these weird esoteric beliefs and you can have people around you who don't agree with you because he does not agree with everything that I say, but we still have beautiful discourse and it's humorous. Like we laugh about it. So that's how he kind of got involved.
Ah, that's crazy, right? That's so cool. That is so cool. So is he channeling as well? Is he doing his journey like you're doing your journey?
He's like, you know what, Christine? Ever since we started talking about aliens, I have had more alien contact, which tends to happen. And for him, I don't think it is on purpose. Aliens come to him a lot in the dream state, which is one of the ways that they do contact us because it's easier because we often float to different dimensions and a lot of aliens are higher dimensional beings. They can't actually be within this 3D reality with us. So although he's not publicly talking about aliens on TikTok because my mom doesn't let him have a TikTok, He is still on his own awakening journey, yes, and I think we facilitate it together.
Oh, it's so cool. Yeah, because you've just gotta keep things light because yeah, I'd love to kind of step into the next question because yeah, there is like I've been reading The Great Cosmic Mother. Have you started reading it or have you read it?
I have it on my list because that's a book recommended by Jessica Zweig, right? I should read it.
Well, I'm listening to it on YouTube, and there's a beautiful lady called Cassandra. Like, bless her, I've got to have her on my podcast because I'm just so grateful. So she's reading it, and I'm into as I'm recording this, chapter 46, and it's just been about the witch hunts, and it's just oh, it's
Wow, I want to
just
learn about that.
I'm like lost for words. An incredible book, and as I said, I'm so grateful she's reading it because I don't think I could sit and make my way through how long this book is, but how incredibly important it is to unravel how we got into that shitstorm
Yes.
and state we are now. And yeah, it does really touch on how the mother how we tended and looked after this connection with earth, and then it all kind of the patriarchy came in, and then the colonialism and the pillaging of the land and the churches and the control and the da 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 da, and it's just like it's awful. And what I wanted to connect in here is that not every I mean, I'm very like I've read a few books like the Flower of the Life, Volume 2, the purple one, was amazing. It introducing me to how this all the whole different species landing on Earth. On that it's different, as I said in the beginning. Different people articulate things in different ways, whether it's human design or astrology, you know what I mean? And it's but when you get the crossovers, that's what's exciting. You go, well, if I'm hearing it from all these different ways, then it's like, okay, I think I can embrace this. So coming back to the very awful things that have happened to beings, that have been here on Earth, I'd love to hear your connection and point of view on the reptilians, and and I'm kind of so curious because I kind of want to, and I'm not a detail girl. That's why I have people on my podcast to do the detail. But yeah, what's your point of view on where they came from and the impact they've had on Earth and where they are right now? And yeah, and you had an actual relationship with one, so that gets even more exciting. So yeah, love to hear your perspective on them.
Of course, yes. I am the girl who claimed I dated a reptilian on TikTok, and that's how my TikTok blew up. They're like, what do you mean? And this is all actually coming in good timing because I just actually launched my reptilians course today, which is on sale until July 20th. And it's all about all of this information. But of course, I'd love to give a deep dive for your audience. Now, the reptilians, similar to what I was saying about the alpha draconians in the beginning, and draconians and reptilians are a bit different. Draconians are more higher level, I'd say. They're a little bit more militant, and they're the ones who are doing a lot of the long-term execution strategy of things on Earth, whereas the reptilians are more lower level in hierarchy, and they usually do a lot of their bidding. So when it comes to the reptilians specifically, I believe that the majority of them, came from the Alpha Draconis constellation through there, although there's probably many other constellations that they came through as well, because infinite universe, so many different species out there. And they ended up on Earth as one of the original intelligent species here. So you think back, it doesn't actually seem that crazy to think about because us humans, we know that dinosaurs were here. We have evidence of dinosaurs and of their bones in museums. And what makes us think that there weren't more intelligent dinosaur humanoid beings walking around the earth with them, right? So with reptilians, it's a very interesting story because they, being one of the original inhabitants there, eventually came across humans who were put on Earth to evolve. And so the Anunnaki also came along, and these are also intelligent ET species. And so the Anunnaki, and I don't know as much about them as I do about the reptilians, they came onto this earth to mine. They wanted minerals, they wanted gold, etc. And so at this point, they saw an opportunity to use the human beings as a slave race because they needed someone to do their labor for them. Now, with the reptilians already being here, they wanted a piece of this pie as well. And they're like, you know what? Let's use these human beings as well for our own good. Now enter, and this was all during like ancient Egyptian era. So now enter the GFL, the Federation of Light, the Galactic Federation of Light, and that's that card that I pulled for you earlier today. And this is the one of the many councils that actually oversee a lot of the doings on Earth for the benefit of humanity. Enter the GFL, and they were telling the reptilians, you can't make these human beings your slaves because they're here for evolution. They've got their own path. So you either have to get off of this planet or you have to go within the planet. You cannot be seen by the human beings. So the reptilians, they were literally banished to the inner Earth, and they say that there's cities within the underground Earth. There's underground tunnels. Military people talk about it all the time. That's where they've been banished, or they have to leave the surface of Earth. Now, it's interesting when you look at it from the perspective of the reptilians, because the reptilians got pissed because this, in their eyes, is their Earth, their territory, and now they're banished from it. Not only this, but when the GFL came, these very high vibrational alien beings, they started mixing their DNA with human beings. And now human beings have higher vibrational DNA than these reptilians. And the reptilians were really mad. And what that means is that they have more psychic abilities, more intuition, etc., with this higher vibrational DNA. So from the perspective of good and bad in all species and trying to understand polarity within this universe and different perspectives, one could kind of understand why the reptilians act out so much against humanity in the ways that they do, and how they control us, because they do believe that this is their land.
That's awesome. That's a great, thank you. Yeah, it's a great analogy. And in the purple book I talk about, there was actually a species that came here to mine gold, and they were using it because they needed up in their planet they had a similar thing going on to the ozone layer. Have you read about that?
No, but I would definitely imagine Earth is such
Fascinating.
an incredible resource
Oh,
rich Earth, like still to this day, that there are plenty of aliens who want to try to get a piece of this pie. So if there are other species aside from the Anunnaki, or maybe it was the Anunnaki that
it could
you're
have been.
referring
Yeah,
to, yeah,
yeah, yeah.
that definitely could be a huge possibility.
Yeah, no, because it was like, wow, it was such a, yeah, they were the first miners on Earth. So it might have, I'm gonna have to go back and look at me in detail. Like,
Yes.
oh my goodness. So what, so yeah, what's your kind of like perspective on what's going on, like with the moon and the sun and what do you think's going on? And is there going to be more people finding out that they're part of this group? And like what's your kind of perspective on what's going to unravel, what's coming, and what's coming through for you, what um when you channel and when you get these messages, and how do they come through? Do you hear them? Do you see them? There you go.
Yeah. Absolutely. So I'll start with just like a first a quick understanding of what I think is happening on Earth, and then I did actually have a message that I channeled earlier, And I'll share that as well. But in terms of what's happening on Earth, and to answer some of your questions, I absolutely believe that we're going through a massive, massive awakening. And many human beings will wake up to galactic origin, to the esoteric, etc. And I think that this is because the vibration of the Earth is literally rising. And this has been measured by scientifically through the Schumann resonance. Have you heard of that?
Mm.
So I'm not very interested in sciencey things. So I don't know too much about it other than it measures the frequency of the earth. And because of this, it has caused a lot of solar flares, a lot of energy coming from the sun, which has been impacting us as human beings and causing what's known as ascension symptoms, which is essentially us ascending as an evolution, and it's making us feel different symptoms like we're getting migraines or we're feeling fatigued, like all these different weird symptoms that just come out of nowhere. So yes, that is definitely happening. Now, in terms of the reptilian role in all of this, they are fighting, as we know that, I mean, as we can, I guess what I'm trying to say is the way Earth is right now is not very fun. And it hasn't been very fun. We try to keep it high vibrational here, but there's been a lot of old systems that are crumbling. The patriarchy is crumbling, even schooling and big pharma, all the things are slowly crumbling. And those were all reptilian controlled for very, 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 very long. That is what's considered the old earth. And as we're ascending into the new earth, which is the higher vibrational timeline, that is what we're aspiring for is for human evolution. So the reptilians are fighting very hard for us to not ascend and to be in a high vibration because they actually feed off of low vibrational fear, energy, and frequency. I'm not worried about them. However, I can tell you that through a lot of different conversations with other people who are connected to aliens or channelers, spiritualists, etc. This war we can call right now that's going on between light and dark, if you want to call it that, the light is winning. There's no way, if we measure with the Schumann resonance, there is no way to deny that the earth is rising because this is the earth's way. This is the earth's will. This is what has always been meant to happen. So reptilians are going to definitely try to get us into a fear frequency based on news media, based on all sorts of craziness. So just know that everything is fine. And the message that I actually got, are you ready for it? Or did you have any questions? Okay.
No, awesome.
Okay. So it's a short one, but it's very cute and sweet.
Yeah.
This great shift is unfolding with great consideration and care. Everything is planned out and everything is happening perfectly. There is nothing to fear. Everything will work out. Stay within your highest vibration, live joyously, laugh often. Earth is going through a massive shift, yes, but this does not mean you cannot enjoy it, even though the world feels chaotic. It's just a feeling for some and it will not last forever. So that's what I got in meditation. And that I actually did because you asked a little bit of how to channel or receive messages. And that message came through automatic writing. Are you familiar with that?
Yeah, awesome.
Yeah. So that's just basically words being downloaded through your mind into your hands as you're typing. And other ways that I receive messages is through clear audience, which is the psychic ability of hearing. I also receive confirmation through chills. Like I've been getting chills a lot throughout this call, and that's confirmation that I'm like hitting on something. And usually
Oh
through
my goodness.
meditation.
I've been like trembling that I don't know if you notice that I'm like cold. Like I'm actually, and then you've just said that and the chills and they just stop straight away.
Wow.
Yeah, I feel really
Wow.
cold. Like I can't show that I'm cold because I probably am a little bit. I'm not as warm a climate as you are right now. But
Oh,
yeah, that's so
I'm hot right now.
interesting.
Interesting. Yeah. Wow. So do you identify with that gift? Have you ever like felt chills when you're more
Oh yeah.
okay? So that's something that you have then. I consider it a psychic ability to be able to feel chills when you're getting messages.
It's more I get them like, oh, like especially now that I'm where I am now, and I'd love to get some astrocartology.
Yeah.
Like I've downloaded a basic one and looked at where the lines are because you can astrocartology, just backstory, this is all interconnected. As I said, it's like from your birth day, date, time, you can, there's a map of the moon line, the Jupiter line, I don't know, me in detail. But it draws them over the world map, and it shows you like ideally where you're better suited to be than other places. So, and there is a moon line it's pretty close to where I am. It's not that, so it's interesting. Where was I going with that? Yeah, the spine chills. Yeah, so now that I'm here, like I just get just I've never felt so in alignment. Like I'll just be
nice.
walking around, I'll be like, oh my goodness. Like, because as such a sensitive being, to be where I am now, there's no traffic lights, there's no McDonald's, there's no buses, and it's just this beautiful little road. Like you don't really need to look before you cross, and you're on the beach. It's like it's real yesteryear, and I feel like I've been very much called by the council, by the Federation. I feel definitely called to come here so that I can use my voice.
Yes.
And have these conversations, and I could just cry right now because it's that is like that's what I feel like I'm here for, because nothing else, like whenever I try to do anything else, it just doesn't work. Like build a website, start doing this, start, I'm just like, no. It's like,
right. Well, you're very needed.
Yeah, and the beautiful things happening, as I said before we even started this call and pressed record, like there's my mum, like, and she's like, got this like, lava stone bracelet. She's like, she's putting her feet on the ground after 70 whatever years of life. She goes, Belinda, I'm sleeping the best I've ever slept in my whole life. And then my sister's like, her daughter is definitely a starseed. Like she's highly sensitive and really struggling. And she's just had concussion, being knocked like out. And my sister, and anyway, I said, Mum's like looking at Reiki, because I've just got my Reiki masters, and that's opened me
congrats.
up so much. That's how I found like my higher names come through, and just it's just been phenomenal. And she was like, yeah, I think Reiki could really help. There's not even me offering, I just let things float around, and if they can come back to me, but I'm not, and I was like, well, I can do Reiki, and then boom, like and they're embracing it. And then I've just got another message, like, my last story, I'm just going to keep speaking. And yesterday's story on my socials was like, really, like, I'm just going to push play. And it was a response to my mum talking about my sister, and I'm a manifesting generator. So I can respond like effortlessly all day. I love it. It's just effortless for me. And then I've got to reply even before I hit play. Oh my goodness. And she was just saying how, like, almost like giving me this like, good on you for speaking. And I'm like, whoa. That's what I feel like I'm here for. If I can just be that curious, very laid back, very me, because I'm so raw and real, and be that, way of presenting to just help people realize that we've got to look outside the box. It's the only way we're going to get through. It's the only way. We have to realize that we're we've got to strip it back and go, whoa, okay, there's more, So,
and thank God for that. Oh my God, thank God that there's more. There were a couple times in my life where I would wake up out of bed and be like, this is boring. Why do I have to work 9 to 5, So yeah, we definitely need your light. And that's interesting that you say about astrocartography.
Yeah.
Because I did look into mine, and mine actually did not line up to where I am. I'm in Buffalo, New York, in the US, and my chart, I forget, it was honestly somewhere like way, maybe in Europe, a couple of the different lines. And so my friend had told me that if you are in a location where your chart doesn't line up, it usually means that you're needed there for some reason to spread your light. So
Yeah. But we can be there, right? Like by you having a podcast with
oh,
someone
you're
over there,
right.
there's
Good
other ways of
point.
looking at it, right?
Right, absolutely.
If there is no limit to how we can globally have an impact. We're in really exciting times, such
Yes.
exciting times.
I know. I'm here for it. I'm excited. Some people are like, Earth is falling. And I'm like, no, she's rising. And we're going to
Right.
have a lot of fun doing it all together and talking about aliens and all the fun, curious stuff, as you said.
Yeah, just keep it curious. So I'll just check that there was nothing else that I had on my little. I always make some little kind of notes before I talk to my beautiful galactic guest. Ha ha ha. And no, I think that was amazing. It was amazing. So I've got one little final, and I think almost what was channeled through to you was actually it, but I'm going to do it again, and because it's how I normally close. So if the world was in front of you, if I wanted like there's Christine, she's up on stage, the world's in front of you, you're holding your mic as you are, what message would you have to share?
Oh my gosh, so many messages. This is so crazy. Okay, my message that I would share is the fact that you are here right now is a 1 in 400 trillion chance that you're here, that your mom met your dad, that sperm met that egg, that you're here right now. You have a reason to be here. You are meant to shine your light. You are meant to bring joy and happiness and beauty to this world. You are so needed. We need you and we need your light. So you are so loved. And that would be my message for the world.
Oh, that's so beautiful. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you. This
If
was
you've read the
fun.
book The Magic, that's these little gems of things.
Yes,
And yeah, that was so cool. Thank you for being the bridge for me.
of
And
course.
it's about cutting down the woo woo, and because it's not. And that's what as I said, that's what I'm here for. So thank you for being the bridge between me and what you do and the greater, because that's really, I really believe that's how we're gonna do this light work thing.
Absolutely. We're going to do the light work together. I so appreciate being on here and I appreciate all the work that you're doing as well. Keep it up.
Aw, thank you. So over and out from Curious B, and actually I'm just going to rewind because I'm sure I've kind of mentioned throughout this. If you want to get in touch with Christine, she's on TikTok, Coming Out Cosmic, and Insta, but mainly TikTok. You're definitely a lot more active on there. And comingoutcosmic.com, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
You
sweet.
got it.
So,
Yep.
so you can have your starseed identified, your star family. Yeah. So there we go. I'll sign out again because I had to make sure that
No
you knew
worries.
that it was Christine. But yeah. So there we go. Thank you. Over and out from Curious.
Yay.